days ago, I presented 12 strategies, 12 tools, techniques, methods to solve any problem. Now, I have a lot of confidence in these because this is where I go when I'm really stuck. I go to this list and I say, is there a new way to apply one of these powerful processes? Process, habit, technique, strategy. Is there a way to apply one of these to solve my problem? So what I want to do now for about 20 minutes is quickly go through these. Now, you've already written them down, you have them in a book, so don't worry about writing these down. Just use my speaking to create your thoughts. So I'm going to review these and say some words about them that I haven't yet said. But don't worry about writing my words down. Instead, use my words as fodder for your own creativity. And write down for you what would work. How could you use this idea to solve your problem? Like to really solve it. That's what I'm asking you to do now. And to run through them all quickly to remind you of some tools, some techniques. Well, here's the first one. Clearly describe life 2 years after your problem was solved. Just take the time to write down what life would be like some time after, 2 years, 2 months, something like that, after your problem was solved. So that you actually take yourself into the future and you pretend it's later. You pretend it's 2 months from now, 2 years from now, who knows? For some of you, your problem's big enough that it might be that you pretend it's 12 years from now. And describe life working. And realize that without that problem that you've gotten comfortable with, life would still be great. Well, there's lots of other ways to determine what you want, and we talked about those. And I'm wanting you to write down now how maybe you could use some variation of this strategy to solve your problem. Here's another idea, is that you go to the people associated with that problem. Because for a lot of you, that problem has to do with others. It's not just personal. And you interview them, and you say, if we got this solved, what would it be like? And you have them describe how life would be if that problem wasn't there anymore. Not only will that help you define what it would look like, but more than that, it motivates them. Because for a while, they get into a head frame, into a mind, a body, soul frame of having the problem solved. For a brief moment, they're there. They are there, problem solved. They can imagine it, and when you can imagine it, it's way easier to accomplish. That's the beauty of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech when he stood up and said, I have a dream. If you haven't seen that lately, or if you've never seen it, rent it. You can rent it at a lot of video stores and watch it. Because he was a perfect example of this, of standing before people and saying, I have a dream and this is what it would look like. And he described it with such beauty and with such grace that everybody wanted that. And you can do the same. You can describe what you want, what you desire with such passion, with such grace, that everybody is going to line up and get that for you and for them. Well, here's another idea. Make a list of what your current liabilities are, what currently holds you from really solving your problem. What are the current limitations that you have that keep that problem in place? Now, for some people, this seems like, well, let's be a little depressing. I don't want to make a list of all my liabilities, my limitations. Well, in the beginning, it is a little depressing. But then it's enlivening, because as soon as you see your insufficiencies that keep the problem in place, you can start to deal with them. They become just a path to the solution. Let's say, for example, that what you realize is that your disorganization in life is keeping you from solving your problem. Now, I'm not saying it is. Matter of fact, most of you are probably highly organized. But let's just say that some of you aren't very organized, and that disorganization that shows up not only on your desk at work, but it shows up in your car, it shows up in your sock drawer, it shows up in your life. Let's just say that you think that maybe that disorganization is holding the problem in place. Well, initially you might use it as an excuse to keep the problem. But then you can say, no, it's not an excuse to keep the problem. Actually, I see that if I changed and became organized, I would solve the problem. Well, then it's a road to solving the problem. It becomes a liability, becomes a solution.